Welcome to next session now on discrete Fourier transform. So, in last few sessions we had deliberately discussed by taking various simple examples and taking extra efforts to explain what a discrete Fourier transform is. I hope that much discussion is now quite sufficient, and we go for a classical approach wherein I will explain the properties, something inverse, and what is means what we discussed till now is normally not told anywhere in the classroom. If you have gone through any other video lectures or you might have checked with other friends, that you will find that simple typical discussion goes on. What I wanted that everybody of you should understand a theme. So, I entertained that discussion. We have time, we still have time. The things are to be completed till 31st May. So, we can safely continue. So, now in general discrete Fourier transform, obviously its inverse is called as IDFT. Discrete Fourier transform, it is invertible and its inverse is IDFT. Both of these are again transforms only. Inverse is a transform itself, merely because when we think of transforms or inverse, there are two transforms which form an what we can say complementary pair. So, in general what we have a sequence of the most important thing is that it must be of finite length. One finite length sequence is converted into another finite length sequence by a weighted sum, and weights are very much interesting because we should have inverse possibility, but merely because something is invertible, that does not mean that it is useful. The discrete Fourier transform is obtained by multiplying some constants, some weights which are rotating points actually, and that is the crux of the system. So, what we have, a sequence x n is we have, and we obtain x k by the formula where this is we discussed as sample domain or position domain, and this is rotational speed domain. I think that much discussion is sufficient. Now, there is no point in extending it further because it would be an infinite loop then. So, the formula is x k is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to capital N minus 1 x n w n raised to k n, where w n is a point on unit circle in the fourth quadrant normally, because if you will say that w2 is in the second is on the horizontal axis itself. So, Wn is equal to e raised to minus j 2 pi by n. So, this is discrete Fourier transform. Then today we shall finish inverse, then if time permits few properties, and in next lecture I think we shall conclude this DFT and go for the last model, that is Z transform, for which we may require at least 6 to 8 lectures, even if we decide to go at somewhat rapid rate. Now, this is something as very clearly stated, that discrete transform is input is a sequence, output is a sequence. Each term in the output sequence or each term in the transformed sequence is weighted sum of all terms in the input sequence. Now, if this logic is to be accepted, then when we think of finding inverse, what we must have? We must be able to find xn from xk. We must be able to find xn from xk's. So, what it should be? It has to be summation over k starting from 0 to n minus 1. Obviously, we have xk in our hand and some weight, we have xk in our hand and we have to have some weight. What that weight should be? Now, in standard method, what is told is the formula for inverse is told directly, but we will not do that. We will not do that. Instead, I will make you to think what should be. Let us spend this valuable time which we have due to lockdown in trying to interpret something on our own instead of relying on something which is told to us. So, xk is given. From xk we want to extract xn back. One thing which is very clear is that this is xk is summation of xn into some weight sequence. Like that, here what I would like to prefer is that let this be something, and what that thing, what this wn raised to kn is? Wn raised to kn is weight which depends on k as well as n, k as well as n. So, it can be said to be some sequence which I will define as g. This bracket should be square bracket because it is sequence, not a function, not a continuous function. G n comma k. So, for when I want to compute xn, for given n, it has to be a function of k. For given n, it has to be a function of k. Means what we are doing now? So, we will try to check whether I can find the formula for inverse. We are moving by that. If we are able to find, it's well and good. If we are not able to find, then what we mean that if we are not able to find and I am taking a lecture, it means that I will not be able to find. But this is not so. What we should do is, I will give you some guidelines, then you should stop the video, which you normally also do. After stopping the video, you should try to derive on your own. If not, in that case, you should skip the video by some point, just check whether I am still explaining the finding of inverse formula. If not, you move ahead and you will now move to actual inverse, and then we will from inverse, we will prove that it is inverse. I hope that you get me. We have a formula for DFT. We want to derive the formula for IDFT. After deriving the formula for IDFT, I will again prove that it is really an inverse. So, what I want is, when I start now, I will explain slowly. Then if you want that you are able to do the things on your own, then you should stop the video, think, conclude, and then skip my video, go to last point, check whether you are correct, and then you can verify. If you are not able to do it, still you skip the video, go to the point, then understand how inverse is, understand how it is proved an inverse. Means a problem is stated, its solution is to be found out. If you are able to find it out, is well and good. But even if you are not able to find out, once a solution is told to you, you must be able to prove, you must be able to at least verify that it is the correct solution. That is expected from everybody. In fact, finding inverse is also expected from everybody. So, DFT formula is known. IDFT formula, what I have done is that I have put G. So, what is the task now? The question asked, what is the task? To find out what is G n comma k. It means that I have found inverse. I am trying my level best that you understand everything. So, xk what you have is equal to summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 xn wn raised to kn. and we have presumed that from xk we want to find xn back. Only thing is that since we are going now for double summation like this, a small change I am making, which you should also know why it is needed. So, what I do is I want to find sequence xn, but I will use a different index and then we can match xm I will find. That way it does not matter because m is going to be varied. Xm is equal to again k equal to 0 to n minus 1 xk and g m, not this, m comma k. So, from the transform points I want to have original points back. I have just used m as a different index. So, once I get x m equal to 0, m equal to 1 and the same thing. This is because I want to replace value of xk from this, and what we should get is that in double summation we can't work on same index. So, now this is what? This is let. Why let? Because this is something which is not known. This, the task is to find g m comma k. Task is to find g m comma k. So, how to find? Next step, first step rather, because that is the assumption now. So, the first step towards solution is xm is equal to summation k is equal to 0 to n minus 1. This is something to be found out. So, this is something we found out, it is actually original sequence. So, whatever you work, we have to work on this. So, what is this? This is this one. So, you put in another bracket value of this xk. What is xk? Xk is from, now here I want this as n and this I have kept as m. I hope you understood. N is equal to 0 to capital N minus 1 xn wn raised to kn g m comma k. I am trying to explain that by applying common sense everybody should understand everything. So, this is sum over k, this is sum over n, this is sum over k, this is sum over n. Now, what can we do is this is something which is not dependent on n because n is running entirely. Something which is not dependent on the running index can be either brought inside, or if it is inside it can be taken outside. It can be brought inside or it can be taken outside. So, I will bring this to be inside. So, just k is equal to 0 to n minus 1, next summation xn wn raised to kn g m comma k. This is for entire n equal to 0 to capital N minus 1, and this I must have x of m. This I must have x of m. So, when it will be possible? When it will be possible? Let us wait for some time. You think, if you want, if you claim that you can find on your own, you pause the video, you continue ahead and check whether you are able to do that. So, there is no need for me to pause now while delivering the lecture. You can make it paused. So, what we have is ultimately this double summation should convert to a value of x for a given index m, value of x for a given index m. This is summation running around, this is next summation running around. You might be now knowing of new paradigm of teaching learning process. I should not tell the next value, next step, because that will make you handicapped for understanding. I should make you to learn, I shall make you to understand. So what we need is that this double summation should reduce to xm only. If this double summation is to, this is running over entire n, this is running over entire k. This is the expected sample. So all samples are here, all samples. Suppose if I am finding x1, then x0 is here, x1 is here, x2 is here. So this is now what we are having is, listen carefully, this is weighted sum, this is a constant, this is a constant for this summation. So this is weighted sum, and now in this weighted sum this will vary for k. So it is sum of different weighted sums. Listen very carefully. It is sum of different weighted sums. Each weighted sum for given value of k, and for different values of k, for given value of k, gm comma k is a constant. It remains constant throughout all n's. So this is now a composite weight for given. So what we must have is, we want to find xm, this and m is from 0 to n minus 1, let us say 7. Then for given m, say let us say xm equal to 1. So when I would want to find x1, in this it is sum of weighted sums, sum over k for different weighted sums. Now in this weighted sum, I have already have x1 here, x0, 1, 2. Now what I should get? This sum of weighted sums should give me xm. Sum of weighted sums of xn's should give me x1. I again repeat, sum of weighted sums of xn for all n's from 0 to n minus 1 or 0 to 7 should give me x1. So in that case, what should happen? The weighted sums for all n's other than m, listen very carefully, weighted sums for all n's other than m should cancel each other, should get cancelled. I again repeat, I change the meaning of instruction, I revert to Marathi. आपल्याला x1 ची व्हॅल्यू, स्मॉल x1 ओरिजिनल सिक्वेन्स x1 ची व्हॅल्यू पाहिजे आहे. x1 ची व्हॅल्यू ही अशी आहे असं गृहीत धरलंय आणि gm आपण काढतोय. इथं x0, x1, x2, x0, x1, x2 अप टू x7 या सगळ्यांची वेटेड सम आणि त्याची एक पुन्हा सम म्हणजे हे पाहिजे. मग हे कधी शक्य आहे? तर याच्यामध्ये x1 येतोच पण 1 सोडून इतरही येतात, किंवा m येतोच किंवा m सोडून इतरही येतात. मग आता दिस entire bracket should behave differently if m is equal to n, and if m is not equal to n, it should behave differently. मग आता m equal to n करता ही ब्रॅकेट काय व्हायला पाहिजे? ही ब्रॅकेट आणि पुन्हा ही सम, ह्या म्हणजे m equal to n करता ही ब्रॅकेट आणि त्याची पुन्हा सम ही xm व्हायला पाहिजे. अशा हे वेट्स पाहिजेत. आणि m n नसताना फॉर m अदर दॅन m this sum should become 0. This sum should become 0. How this sum will become 0? That depends upon this gm comma k. So, for m equal to n, this sum, weighted sum and again sum, weighted sum and its sum should become, that is when we put m here, when we put, so what I rewrite again. So, this is what? This is k equal to 0 to n minus 1 x. This sum I write separately. M equal to n, that is I can write x m w n raised to k m g m comma k plus this k equal to 0 to n minus 1, again summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x n w n raised to k n multiplied by g m comma k, and here I should write below this summation mark m not equal to n, m not equal to n. So, now what should happen? Now, this is a single sum because it is one term. So, it is sum over k. So, it has nothing to do with m. So, x m can come out, k equal to 0 to n minus 1 w n raised to k m g m comma k, and plus this summation again k equal to 0 to n minus 1, n equal to 0 to n minus 1, m not equal to n, x n w n raised to k n So, what should happen? That for m equal to n, that is x m. So, this should become 0 and this summation should become 1. This summation should become 1. So, what we must get? We must have the function such that for k equal to 0 to n minus 1, w n raised to k m g m comma k should be 1, and what we should get is we must guarantee that for n other than m, this summation should become 0. This summation should become 0 means what should happen? For given xn, w n raised to k n and g m comma k, this product should be such that for when it runs for n other than m, this w n raised to k n and this g m comma k, listen very carefully, it is not so easy as we find. So, one thing is that this should be 1. So, there are many ways with which you can work on it. Now, what we must ensure, this is the most important part, I want answer should emerge from you, k equal to 0 to n minus 1, next summation, n equal to 0 to n minus 1, m not equal, we should write n not equal to m, anyway it does not matter, but it is standard writing. xn wn raised to kn and gm comma k. Now what should happen is, when n is not equal to m, the double summation should result this to be 0. We want this double summation should become 0. So what is the way out? This should become 1, this should become 0. See, what I want to convey is, we must be able to derive, we must be able to find inverse. We should not take help of the solution there, we must be able to find. So what is the way out? This is one and this is other, both would be stuck simultaneously. Simply by this we can start. So when in double summation something is stuck, there are some tricks. What those tricks are? Just interchange the order of summation. So by interchanging the order of summation, what you can do is, since you are not moving something out or something in, there is no problem in interchanging the order of summation if the entire internal bracket is complete. If the internal bracket is complete, you can interchange any time. So interchanging order of summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1, n not equal to m, then k equal to 0 to n minus 1, xn wn raised to kn gm comma k, and here this should become 0. Now what the thing is that here this is something, this should become 1, and here double summation should become 0, and again n is coming. So there is something which we can get rid of. Now what we can have here, so k has gone inside, so this is independent of k, so this can come outside the internal sum. So this is the crux. So it is n equal to 0 to capital N minus 1 xn summation k equal to 0 to n minus 1 wn kn gm comma k. And now what should happen is, for n other than m, this should become 0, so that we get the answer. So what this should become 0 means, xn can be anything. If this entirely has to become 0, this has to become 0. So summation k equal to 0 to n minus 1 wn raised to kn g m comma k should become 0. Here m and m have put, here n for n not equal to m. So this is sum, it is weights, these are weights, so sum of weights should become 0. and here it should become 1. Now, what you are having? It is changing, k is changing, some we want to be constant, k is changing, some we want to be 0. So, this Gm comma k, this Wn is a point on unit circle. This Gm comma k should also be a point on unit circle, and when we multiply effectively 2 points on unit circle, their product is also a point on unit circle. Their product is also a point on unit circle. And if that point on unit circle, if we add multiple points on unit circle with symmetry, the addition becomes 0. If we add multiple points on unit circle with their symmetry, the addition becomes 0. And if we want same point on unit circle for multiple times, it gets multiplied. So, what we should get here is that this Gm comma k should also be a point on unit circle. This Gm comma k should also be a point on unit circle, and now you will be getting hint that it should be such point on unit circle wherein it should neutralize this effect. So, why not to consider, by considering neutralization, Wn raised to minus Km, G m comma k should be of the type, not exact. There may be some constant to multiply. So, G m comma k is equal to some C into Wn something of the type Wn raised to minus Km. So, let us check whether this satisfies both conditions. If we put it here, what will happen? C Wn raised to minus Km, this should be 1. So, what we get? Km and minus Km get cancelled. So, it becomes Wn raised to 0, that is 1. So, it becomes simply summation of C for k equal to 0 to n minus 1, and that should be 1. Summation of C for n times is Nc equal to 1. So, C is equal to 1 by n. C is equal to 1 by n. So, if I now only thing is that if I put it here, I get or not the appropriate thing. So, if I put it here with this 1 upon n, it can come up 1 upon n is not meaningful in summation, Wn raised to minus Km, m not equal to n. So, when m not equal to n, what will happen is that this would be k equal to 0 to n minus 1, Wn raised to k into bracket n minus m, n minus m. So, Wn raised to k n minus m will be a point on unit circle, will be a point on unit circle. N minus m can be 1, n minus m can be 2, n minus m can be 3, it can be anything. And when it is a point on unit circle, and when it moves, suppose let us take that let n minus m be equal to 1, it can be 0, because if it is 0 we go here, and the condition is n not equal to m is the condition. So, if n minus m is 1, and let us take this capital N equal to 8. So, it becomes, it is true for anything, k equal to 0 to 7, W8 raised to k 1. So, W8 raised to k. What is W8? W8 is what? That is, you should understand, because if you don't understand W8, then there is no point. W8 is a point on unit circle at an angle 2 pi by n, that is 2 pi by 8, that is pi by 4 and minus. So, what is Wn? This is Wn, W8. Now, summation W8 raised to k equal to 0, this point, k equal to 1, this point. So, W8 raised to 0, W8 is this, W8 raised to 0 is this, W8 raised to 1 is this, W8 raised to 2 is this, W8 raised to 3 is this, W8 raised to 4 is this, W8 raised to 5, W8 raised to 6, W8 raised to 7, W8, this is W8 raised to 0, this is W8 raised to 1, this is W8 raised to 2. So, W8 raised to 1, W8 raised to 2, W8 raised to 3, W8 raised to 4, W8 raised to 5, W8 raised to 6, W8 raised to 7. So, if n minus m is equal to 1, it becomes W8 raised to k, and this point, summation of all these points will be 0, because this point cancels this point. So, for each of them there is a canceller. So, its summation is 0. If n minus m is equal to 2, what will happen? If n minus m is equal to 2, it will become W8 raised to 2k. W8 raised to 2k means what? It would be W8 raised to 0, W8 raised to 2, W8 raised to 4, W8 raised to 6, W8 raised to 8, what is it? 8 is again 0, W8 raised to 10, it is again 2, W8 raised to 12, W8 raised to 14. So, W8 raised to 0, W8 raised to 2, W8 raised to 4, W8 raised to 6. W8 raised to 8 is 0, W8 raised to 10 is 2, W8 raised to 12 is 4, W8 raised to 14 is 6. So, again they cancel. Anything you can take, if you take n equal to n minus m is equal to 3, then it will be 0, then 3, then 6, 0, 3. So, we can have 0, then 3, then 6, then 9, then 12, then 15, then 18, and then 21. So, 0, 0, 3, 6, 9 is 1, 12 is 4, 15 is 7, 18 is 2, and 21 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0. So, the same points are there and they cancel each other. So, what we can conclude is that if the G m comma k is 1 by n, so what is inverse DFT? Inverse DFT is, formula is xm is equal to summation xk, and we have said it to be G m comma k equal to 0 to capital N minus 1, and this G m comma k is 1 by n W n raised to minus m k. We can add km also, but since it is outer sum, we put like this, and this 1 upon n can come outside. This 1 upon n can come outside. So, xm is 1 by n summation k equal to 0 to n minus 1 xk wn, and now you can use n minus nk. So, when, and the original formula is xk summation k is equal to 0 to capital N minus 1 xn wn raised to, here you write kn. Why? Because summation is over n. Now, I do not know, there is some in original transform and its inverse. This is the formula for DFT and this is the formula for IDFT. IDFT. Now, this is something which you must not have heard anywhere. If you have heard, then please let me know immediately after the lecture is over and you search something. This is the formula for, only thing is that do not tell it to somebody if you are not sure that whatever you say is being valued by him, do not share this, because it is something which is completely new. Now, in this original formula and inverse, when we say inverse, there is what here xn is there, from n you find k, so it is summation over n, it is summation over n, from xn you find xk, n runs, that is okay, from xk you find xn, it is summation over k, k runs, okay. On this side we have some weight wn raised to kn, here wn raised to minus nk or kn, it is same. So, for finding transform one set of weights and for finding its inverse other set of weights, that is also fine. What is something which is pinching? In fact, it was pinching to me also for many times, that here there is nothing like 1 upon n and 1 upon n is here, 1 upon n is here. Then can we do something? Can we do something that exactly, see, it is a very new discussion which we are having. Can we do something so that both the formulae should become same, should look same? Here this is something which is disturbing my symmetric relationship, disturbing my symmetric relationship. So, what can be done? Can you think of something? It is a totally new discussion. So, here no division, here division, it is not, it is wrong. So, then you will say, if I divide it here, if I divide it here, division here will go, and again it will be asymmetric. What can you do? Just think, and I think that if we modify the formula 1 upon root n and 1 upon root n, in that case it will look symmetric. Only thing is that will it be correct or not is to be verified. Can you verify this? It is a claim which I am making. I hope that I describe what is the problem. The problem is that when we find DFT, we do not divide by n, and in IDFT we have to put a divider n, 1 upon capital N. If we divide by y, you can revise the formula. If we divide it earlier, we are not required to divide later. But if we divide by 1 by root n on both cases, you may find that this is now something symmetric. 1 upon root n Wn raised to minus nk, Wn raised to kn. So, this is something, then you say why this was not done, somehow it is not done. Anyway, that it does not make any difference. It is just like what you can say, then why you are insisting upon. Suppose if you build a house and you are having walls are there. Suppose if you do not color the walls, what difference it makes? Does it make any difference when you are living? It does not, but it should look nice. So, the original formulae, nothing here and 1 upon n here, nothing here and 1 upon n here do not look nice. So, it is nicer way of representing DFT and IDFT. That is what I feel. You verify whether it is correct or not, just a new thought I have put in front of you, but do not write it anywhere. So, this is, I wipe it out, otherwise you write it somewhere, I will come in trouble. So, the formulas are 1 upon n, this is xk is this and xn is this. This is DFT and IDFT. So, you get a discrete sequence and you find its transform, length can be any. Normally, in computer programs, finding DFT and IDFT is simpler for n to be power of 2. If it is not, you can add zeros and you can convert, because there is a further technique to find DFT by faster algorithm, that is called as fast Fourier transform, FFT. Only thing is that it is not there in our syllabus, as it is beyond the scope, we right now do not take, sometime we may take, but FFT is not a different transform. If otherwise, when it is in your syllabus what is there, DFT is there, FFT is there. So, somebody may think, oh, it is new transform. No, FFT is faster way to compute DFT as well as IDFT. So, fast Fourier transform is faster way of computation. When it is index of 2, it becomes somewhat simpler. Now, we go through some properties of DFT, and I think that in the next lecture, we will be winding up the 5th module, and after that we will go for 6th and last module. Now, there are many properties, linearity, shift and all that. Now, linearity, I think it is a very simple property which you can verify later on. From DFT point of view, what I wanted to stress is a property of shift. So, we have finite length sequence, we have a finite length sequence. When we have finite length sequence, when we have an infinite length sequence, then suppose if I have a sequence 1, 2, 3, 0 on both sides. This is here, this is not a finite length sequence. Here the non-zero terms are finite. Otherwise, we also can have xn is equal to half raised to n un is 0, 0, 0, then half, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16 and so on. This is again, this is also infinite sequence. This is an infinite length sequence with finite non-zero terms. This is infinite length sequence with infinite non-zero terms. Now, when the sequence is, this is n equal to 0, this is at n equal to 1, n equal to 0. Now, when I shift this sequence, this becomes a different sequence 1, 2, 3 and then 0, and 0 comes here 0. When I shift this sequence, this or I can shift the sequence left also 1, half, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16 and 0 on sides. So, this is a linear shift. So, when infinite length sequence is shifted, it is called as linear shift. Whereas now, remember, this is an infinite length sequence with finite non-zero terms. Other terms are 0. This is infinite length sequence with infinite non-zero terms. But when you have got finite length sequence, say 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 5, n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. So, n is defined only from 0 to 3, it is a 4-point sequence. When this sequence is shifted, when you shift it 1, 3, 5, there is no scope here and 1. So, this one is wrapped around here. 1, 3, 2 and 5. So, this 5 comes here. So, this when I shift it here, 1 goes here, 3 goes here, 2 goes here and 5 goes here and comes back. So, this is called as circular shift. So, circular shift is important when we take the shift property of discrete Fourier transform. It is circular shift. We call it as modulo capital N shift. We call it as the shift is modulo capital N. So, what is the shift property? If we have got xn getting transformed to xk, then the question is x n minus n naught will get transformed to what? When I say x of n minus n naught is actually not like this, it is because the index must be between 0 to n minus 1. So, n minus n naught is not written like this, and there is a standard way, only thing is that it is a protocol. So, x n getting transformed to xk, then x of n minus n naught modulo n gets transformed to what? Modulo n means if this n minus n naught, is going beyond, its only thing is that by simple example you can understand, but in the standard method when I shift x by n naught, if what is meaning of x of n minus n naught n? Modulo n. N minus if this n minus n naught, if this is, let this be equal to m. So, m is n minus n naught modulo n means what? If n minus n naught for a given n is between the range of 0 to n minus 1, then m is equal to n minus n naught. And if this n minus n naught is either exceeding on this side or becoming less than this, then add suitable times kn in this so as to bring it between 0 to n minus 1. Maybe that it is difficult to explain. I will explain by example. मराठीत सांगतो. तर xn आपण कॅपिटल N 8 घेऊया. तर xn आहे. n किती असू शकतो? 0 to 7 मध्ये असू शकतो. सो x n minus n naught आणि n naught आपण 3 घेऊया. x n minus 3 मोड्युलो 8 म्हणजे काय? समजा n 5 आहे, n minus 3 2, n 6 आहे, n minus 3 3, n 7 आहे, n मायनस 3 4, n 0 आहे, n मायनस 3 मायनस 3, पण मायनस 3 चालणार नाही, मग मायनस 3 आहे म्हणून त्यात म्हणजे एक्स एन मूळ सिक्वेन्स तो एन असतो 0 to 7 मध्ये, तो जो शिफ्ट होतो x 0 ला शिफ्ट, x आपण मगाशी किती घेतलं तर 5 घेतलं तर x 5 वजा 3 2 चालतंय, 6 वजा 3 3 चालतंय, 7 वजा 3 4 चालतंय, 0 वजा 3 मायनस 3 चालते, म्हणून त्यात पुन्हा 8 ऍड करायचे, म्हणजे when I shift ओरिजिनल सिक्वेन्स असा असेल n इक्वल टू 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 हा मूळ सिक्वेन्स एक्स एन, आणि शिफ्टेड सिक्वेन्स एक्स ऑफ एन मायनस 3 आणि मॉड्युलो 8. मूळ सिक्वेन्स काहीतरी आपण घेऊया 3 4 5 6 8 2 1. x of n minus 3, x of n minus 3 म्हणजे x 5 म्हणजे ह्यातला 2, इथं हा जो 2 ला आहे तो x of n minus 3. आता हा आपण इकडे शिफ्ट केला, 1 न शिफ्ट केला तर कसा शिफ्ट होणार, मायनस 3 आपण वेगळं घेऊया पाहिजे तर 3 4 5 6 8 2 आणि हा 1 इकडे येणार. सो when I shift it this way, so it comes around by revolving. So this n minus 3 when I compute, when I take n equal to 0, म्हणजे आता इथं कसं होत आहे, इथला जो x0 आहे तो याचा x1 झाला आहे, x0 घेतलाय हा याचा x1 झालाय. सो दिस इज आय कॅन से xn मायनस 1, म्हणजे याचा x2 आहे हा ह्याचा x of m where m is n minus 1, म्हणजे यातला x m2 सॉरी इथं व्हॅल्यू राहिली, वन 3 4 5 6 8 2 1 3 4 5 6 8 2 and the दूसरी view was 9. This 9 goes here, so it comes here. It is something which is very easy to understand but difficult to explain in classical terms. xn आता n equal to x0 1 आहे, ह्यातला काय 1 आहे, x1 1 आहे, म्हणजे m इक्वल टू याचा x0 1 आहे, याचा xn इक्वल टू 1, n इक्वल टू 0 and x m इक्वल टू 1 for m इक्वल टू 1, म्हणजे m is equal to n plus 1, m is n plus 1. मग आता n जेव्हा 7 होतो तेव्हा m काय होणार 8, पण 8 चालत नाही, 8 झाला की 8 वजा मायनस करायचे, आणि उलट्या शिफ्ट केला आपण, समजा ह्या साईडला शिफ्ट केलं असतं तर -1 झाला की +8 करायचे. सो यू शुड ब्रिंग what is meaning of modulo, bring this index in the range of 0 to 7. If it goes beyond, so this m is n plus 1. This n is always original sequence is between 0 to 7. So it is n plus 1 or it can be n plus n naught, anything. So when this change index spills over 7 or 0, make it 7, bring it between 7 and 0 by suitably adding 8. You can shift by 20 times. Shifting 20 times means shifting 4 times. So, same thing, because it is 8 plus 8, 16 and then 4. So, it is same one and same thing. So, I hope that this is shift property. So, what is the shifted transform? That is homework for you today. Tomorrow you come with the answer. We will explain that property, few other properties, and then we will wind up. I think it is now better to stop. We have discussed rigorously. We meet tomorrow.